Hello everyone, and welcome to the first in a long series of absolute beginners crochet for absolute beginners. I'm calling it the Burty's Basics crochet tutorial series because it's for a friend of mine who wants to learn. So what we'll be doing is in each video we'll be covering one particular topic or stitch. So without further ado, let's get started. For the purposes of the tutorial, I'm using quite a large hook. This one is an 8mm. So I'm going to use a large hook and some real chunky yarn, just so it makes it easier for you to see. So first thing to talk about, if you're absolutely new to this and you're just learning, you need to be really relaxed about how you hold the hook. Some people hold it like so, as if they were going to write with a pen. Some people like that option. Personally, I prefer to hold it like a knife if I was, cutting my steak or something. That's my preferred option. You can hold the hook however you like, as long as you're relaxed. You don't want to be gripping it or anything like that, because otherwise it's going to make your hands ache. So just be really relaxed and loose how you hold the hook. That's the first thing. And then you'll see everyone finds their own comfortable way to crochet, and you will see some people on YouTube like wrapping the yarn around the finger this many times, and or doing fancy kind of twizzles around their other fingers or something like that. It doesn't matter how you hold the yarn, as long as you keep a medium tension on it. Me personally, I like to just loosely hold the yarn in those two fingers. I normally use that finger to keep me working yarn, and I use those two fingers to hold the piece that I'm working on. So so that's the basics, but you can see I've got a really light kind of grip, but there's enough there just to keep a little bit of tension on the yarn. You don't want it too tight. If you make it too tight, you'll never get your hook back through. So you're better, particularly when you're starting, to crochet loosely, so that you have no problems getting your hook back into the next stitch, rather than too tight. A note on tension as well. When you look at the shape of a crochet hook, it's got a slant on it. So the one thing which we'll reiterate as we're going through the basic stitches, when you are completing a stitch, you need to make sure that you push the yarn up onto this fat part of the hook, because that is in this case, 8mm part. If you don't put it up onto the actual widest part of the hook, which is the size of the hook that you're crocheting with, your stitches will be too tight and you will never get this hook end back through when you come to do your next row or whatever. So, but we'll keep mentioning that as we're going along. So the very first thing, let's put the hook out of the way. Most crochet starts with either a slip stitch and a chain, or a magic circle. We're not going to look at the magic circle for a while. We're going to just cover the real basics to start with. A lot of things will start with make a slip stitch and make so many chains. So that's what we're going to do in this first tutorial. So to make a slip stitch, you can do it anyhow you like. Some people do it with the hook. I think it's easy enough just to do it with your fingers. if you basically just wrap one bit of the yarn over the other, make sure you've got a bit of a tail there. So, and then basically you grab that bit and pull it through, tighten it. You can bring the hook in at that point, put your hook into the loop and pull. And that's your slip stitch. We'll do that one more time. So put your yarn down and make a loop. Grab that bit with your finger or the hook, holding onto your tail end. Pull. Put your hook in. Pull your tail end. And there you've got your slip stitch. So the very first thing that you're likely to have to do when you are crocheting is a chain stitch. So keep your slip knot on the hook, grab hold of your yarn. I always hold my tail end, pinch it there, so that it keeps a bit of tension on that to make it easier to pull the stitch through. And you are going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over. I always go back to front. Some people go the other way around. I like the look of this. Grab the yarn that you've just yarn overed with the hook and pull it through and push it up onto the fat part of the hook. And there you have your first chain stitch. So we'll do that again. Keep a little bit of tension here so that you can pull the yarn through easily. So this is where we're at. We're going to yarn over, grab that yarn with the hook. When you're coming back through, twist the hook so that the hook part is facing the bottom of the stitch, and then that way you're less likely to get any snags on the when you're pulling your wool through. So this is where we're at. Yarn over, grab the wool, pull it through and push it up onto the fat part of the hook. And again, yarn over from the front to the back, from the back to the front. Grab the yarn and pull it through and push the yarn up onto the fat part of the hook. Yarn over, grab the yarn, pull it through. So we've got 4. I'm going to do some more because I'm going to use this piece as the sample for all the other stitches that we're going to cover. So we'll do it slowly another few times. This is how your work is now. Yarn over, grab the yarn and pull it through and push the yarn onto the fat part of the hook. Yarn over, grab the yarn with the hook, pull it through and push it up onto the fat part of the hook. Move your fingers up as your work's getting longer. Yarn over, grab the yarn, twist the hook so it's pointing down, pull it through and push the yarn up onto the fat part of the hook. Yarn over, grab it, twist the hook, pull it through, push the yarn up onto the fat part of the hook. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chain stitches. I'll do 2 more. So there's 10 chain stitches. Now some patterns will say join it into a circle, and at that point you need to make sure your chain is straight like that, if this is what your pattern's asking for, and you will be putting your hook through the first chain stitch, and to do a slip stitch you would yarn over, pull it through that loop and pull it through that loop, and that would give you a circle. But we're not going to do that, so I'm going to just pull that out and put my hook back in. So that is a chain stitch, and that's all for this lesson.